Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and it's Storytime Live, episode 125. That number keeps creeping up, and I realize how much closer to the grave I'm getting every day. Not to be morbid, but to be morbid. I like the thumbnail for tonight's show. It's the final issue of the series, issue number 8 there, with little Jonathan Kent looking in the trunk and the dog. I don't know if that's crypto or I think it's just a regular dog. I don't think that's crypto, but I don't know. You know me, I love dogs. I'm very partial. I just love the composition of that shot, how it's at the bottom of the stairs and your eye is drawn immediately to the cape, that the bright red letter, not lettering, the bright red coloring, and then the dog looking down at it. Your eyes are drawn, to Jonathan's eyes looking down. It's all putting you there. And then as your eyes take it all in, you pull back and you're like, oh, and then they go up the stairs and you can see the silhouettes of Clark and Lois, or Lois and Clark as the book would put them, looking down at their kid. And I don't know, just there's something, I like the negative space, all the white. I think I love when comics can use white negative space on covers effectively. For some reason, it appeals to me. But you tell me what you think. Do you like this cover? When I was putting the thumbnail together, I was like, I got to use this. I was going to use issue 7 because tonight we're going to read 7 and 8. And I was like, this has got to use this one. This is the better cover. And it is the end. So I'm kind of showing you that. Tonight's stream is brought to you by Heineken, the beer that no one seems to really care about. Once upon a time, before craft beers, or I should say, once upon a time before Sam Adams put craft beers on the map, Heineken was one of those, like, it was the snooty beer for people that, I can't be caught drinking Budweiser or Coors. I got to drink a fancy import beer. That's what Heineken was. But now fancy beer is like all these little independent brewing companies. Still not bad, though, for a cheap beer. If I'm going to drink a cheap beer, I'm not, I haven't had I can't remember the last time I had a Coors. I kind of wish I could go over to Venkman's house and taste one, because I certainly don't want to buy I don't want to buy any and be like, oh God, now I gotta drink like probably a 12-pack. Like, I don't even want to buy beer in less than a 12-pack because it just gets more expensive per bottle or can the lower quantities you buy. So yeah, anyways, see who's Dragon Majesty is first tonight. He doesn't even realize it. He asked the question, am I first? Eric Breen is number 2. And we all know what number 2 is, right? Am I right? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Good to see you, Eric. Welcome. RDV is reading Batman. He thinks John Paul is dumb. And I guess it ties into the Night Quest stuff. I kind of told you, RDV, that the whole Nightfall, Night Quest, all that stuff wasn't that great. But then again, I was also a prejudiced Marvel fan, looking down at DC every chance I could get. I did buy that series, though, because, hey, Batman's back being broken. Bane seemed like it'd be a really cool new character. I thought Azrael looked cool. Azrael did. The original Azrael costume. The Azrael Bat costume I thought looked kind of dorky, but the original Azrael costume, that's what is that on? I think I just saw it at the comic book store today, as a matter of fact. Like, I think it's called Sword of Azrael was the first appearance. Did Joe Q do that cover? Eric Breen's in the chat. We need to tap his knowledge. Let's see who else is here. Marani is here. She says, pro tip, always put a sheet pan under a cake pan, especially if you fill it close to the top. I saved a huge mess in the oven Thursday morning. There you go. Those cooking tips with Marania. That's immediately following Ash on Comics Storytime, so stay tuned. We'll double book. RDV says, nah, horrible character. John Paul has no value at all. Wow. That's pretty... That's pretty decisive there, I guess. Ronnie says 3 senses. I don't know. You guys talking about stuff. I don't know. RDV wonders how many people dropped the book until Bruce was back. I don't think anyone did. I think that Nightfall did fucking phenomenal sales wise. I would imagine that more people bought the book, like picked up the book, than Batman just currently sells, period, total today. That would be my guess. Look, even I was buying Nightfall and Night Quest and all that stuff. All right. I should be back. This is a tough one. Yeah. Some of you may know, I've been having some internet issues. Spent a couple hours a day troubleshooting it with my roomie. I believe it is our internal Wi-Fi network. It's a weird issue, and I'm not able to narrow it down. And what it is it's a disconnect only for a few seconds. The problem is on streaming, a few seconds of drop brings down StreamYard or Streamlabs in this case, and then it has to reconnect and re-handshake with YouTube and all this stuff. So it's like a domino effect. So your guys' experience, and mine too, is a lot more severe than just like, oh, I dropped for 2 seconds. And I think it's the network service. Use Google Home as Wi-Fi and everything. So yeah, I'm not going to bore you with all the details of what I'm experimenting, but that sucks. I'm disappointed that this happened. I thought I was doing something actually that was going to fix this. So if it drops more tonight during the stream, I beg your indulgence. I apologize for inconvenience. Not much I can do about it. I'm working on it. I just haven't figured out the problem. But hopefully it won't be too bad, and we can continue on. So I was talking about Jean Paul. Oh yeah, just that, I don't know how much guy got cut off, but I wasn't even getting DC Comics when this came out. I didn't jump from Marvel, but I added it to the comics I bought. Just because it was such an exciting thing. And I was talking about also, the Batman Needs New Rogues Gallery. They keep recycling same characters. Let's see. Eric says, that was the idea. His redemption comes later in his own title, written by Denny O'Neil. Yeah. I think the point was that Jean Paul was supposed to not be a great character. Like, he was supposed to be a broken replacement, so that you would realize how good Batman was. That was my take. Wonder how many people. Let's see. Batman as a title was definitely better around 600 than in the early 500s, says Dragon Majesty. Lost in Comics says, evening Ash. Welcome, Lost in Comics. Thank you for being here. I was planning on swinging by your stream tonight, but I got busy doing domestic things like troubleshooting my internet. So I know you guys have a Thursday night stream. If you guys, other people listening, if you haven't checked out Lost in Comics, it's two really cool guys that talk about comics and getting lost in them. So thank you for swinging by and saying hello. Eric says, if Jean Paul had been a capable Batman and not a psycho, Gotham wouldn't have needed Bruce to take up the mantle of the Bat again. Yeah, good point. Bruce should have never left, said RDV. Did you miss the part where his back was broken? Like, how are you going to have a Batman who's paraplegic? Like, it's not that he left. He was taken out of the fight. Now, today would be a different story, right? You'd have that they might actually use that as some sort of like, oh, look, disabled people can be superheroes too. And they would have, I don't know. No, I'm not going to go down that route. Cross my fingers. Keep it positive, Ash. Keep positive. Marani says the contrast was needed. Eric says, as for your question, Vank, at the time, DC had one book in the top 20, Batman. Yeah. It's one of the things, too, sometimes when you read books like this that are 30 years old or more, they don't read the same way as they did when you read them in the era, right? What I mean by that is, like, in the eyes of someone living in the 1980s and whose vision of Batman was Batman up only until that point, up into the 80s, not everything that we've seen today, and the story worked in a way. Now, you look back on it, and sometimes you're just like, wow, that does not age right. And then, of course, if you didn't even live in the 80s, then it may not ring the same way. And that's, I think that's just true. I think that's why I don't resonate with some of the 60s books the way Breen does. Or why I don't resonate with the Golden Age books the way Breen does. Or the Platinum Age. Oh, I'm sorry. I took it too far. Sorry, Breen. Breen's not that old. Let's see. How long was Bruce gone? Wasn't Bruce gone for a year? I can't remember. Ed says, this must be Storytime Live. It is. Oh, and thank you for reminding me. It's time to set the timer. Because I have a tendency to yammer on forever. The idea is talk about stuff, engage with the chat, have a conversation for a little bit before we get into actually reading the books, because it gives some people some time to stroll in and not have the books halfway over. So now if you're I hate this part, and the timer's on, you can come back in 30 minutes. Go watch what can you watch in 30 minutes? You can watch 1/8 of the Snyder Cut. You could divide the Snyder Cut into 8 episodes. Let's see. As someone with a bad back, you'd think Venkman would be more sympathetic to Bruce. True, right? Come on, Venkman. Why aren't you out there saving Madison? I don't even know what city he lives in. I know he's just in Wisconsin. I'm like, what cities are in Wisconsin? Ah, man. There's some nights where a beer just really hits the spot. You just want to chug it. Nice cold beer. I love it. Ronnie says, I have a bad back and I sympathize with both Bruce and Tony. Well, I think Ronnie just has a thing for tall, dark, handsome men who are also rich billionaires. But, I'm not going to judge. If I was a woman, I probably would too. Hell, I'm a man. Never mind. Not going there. Eric says, I can see I'm going to need my Venkman gives me headache pills tonight. Oh, man. Do you need a prescription for those? Because I haven't seen those on the shelf. And I think maybe I'd like to get some without having to. Never mind. 3 falls on my back, plus carrying too much stuff around when I used to visit my friends, and on the train pretty much wrecked it up to a point. I can walk and all, but it aches a lot still. Wow, that's terrible. Terrible. RDV says, I'm tired and cranky, and I hate it when Bruce is gone from his own book. Well, I can relate to that. I definitely, I'm not a big fan of when DC Comics takes their characters and replaces them with other characters, like all of Future State and most of Infinite, whatever this Infinite new thing is. But whatever. Ronnie says, that's a spoiler cover if I ever saw one for this book. I don't know if is it really a spoiler? You don't think Jonathan's ever going to discover Superman? Actually, I mean, we kind of know already. When the last issue we read was Jonathan, discovering his dad was Superman. Let's see. Eric says, Heineken tastes terrible. Charles Barkley. RDV says, fancy beer is Coors Banquet. I guess, come on. Wisconsin has a beer called Milwaukee's Best. I imagine to that region of people that Coors would be a fancy beer. Just to be fair. Eric says, I used to buy a beer by the case. Cost had nothing to do with it. I don't know, Derek. I still think cost had a little bit to do with it, because if you're drinking that much beer, You definitely don't want to be buying it like individually priced. Yes, Joe Quesada did the covers and the interiors, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. Did I reach the end of the chats? All right. I hope I got sound actually back. Yeah, it came back good. It was like my chat froze. I had to refresh my chat. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Station break technical difficulties. Okay, thanks, Rania. And now I know where to scroll to get one, or to get where I'm going. See, RDV says I have bad internet. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually the bad internet. I do think my personal suspicion, I haven't been able to prove it yet, is that it's something to do with the network that we're using, like the internal router. We're using Google Wi-Fi as a mesh system, so it's got like multiple little pods, and they all talk to each other and stuff. So that's my theory. And problem is, there's a lot of possibilities, and narrowing them all down is tough. Dragonman said, last we heard, Ash was buying Broken Back Batman. As long as it's not Broke Back Batman. That's a different book entirely. Eric Breen says, last we heard, no one can remember that far back. RDB makes the joke, Batman Brokeback Mountain. Eric, always enjoy your takes when you spend time with Wes. Yeah. I enjoy Eric's takes when he spends time with me, but that rarely happens anymore. It makes me sad. Let's see, now time to be read to by Ash. Very nice. Hope you enjoy. This is a good book. It's a very fun book. This is what comics should be like to me. I wish more stuff was like this. Ash, I point to a certain armored hero who is effectively a paraplegic for a while in his book. So it could be done. He did go around in his armor, but it cost him his health eventually. Was he a paraplegic? I thought he just had like a heart condition. He didn't like lose the... Like he wasn't paralyzed from the waist down, was he? I don't remember. Batman was more grounded in some ways. That might not have worked for his storyline, so he had to have a replacement for a time. Honestly, I think the whole storyline was just to shake things up, right? When that book came out, like I said, if you view it in the eyes of the era, in that time, in the late 80s, like it was just edgelord central, and Marvel was kicking all sorts of ass. And Marvel was doing it with characters like Punisher, Wolverine, I keep wanting to say Space Ghost, but it's not Space Ghost. It's oh God, why Ghost Rider? Why am I drawing a blank on? Ghost Rider was a big deal at that time. All these like leather and chains and claws and swords and just violent characters. And Batman was still kind of, I don't kill people. And I think DC wanted to shake things up. And I think their idea was very interesting to show the dichotomy of like what a hyper violent Batman would be like, and to show fans like, no, you don't actually want this, right? We're going to give you what you want, and we're not going to ruin Batman by doing it, because a bad way would have been to make Batman be like that. And then you'd have to like try to fix him. But if you replace him with Jean-Paul, and then Jean-Paul is like this psychopath, and he's, then eventually Batman has to come back and stop him. I think as a reader, maybe then you can kind of come and understand like, oh yeah, I actually do like this Batman. I care for what you wish for, sort of thing. Skip and Tosh is in the house. Welcome, Skip, my friend. He says, comics time, huh? Comics time indeed. The live stream is open. I want to say no one. Few people take that opportunity to jump in the live stream, but it's there. I'm a huge Gischler fan. I have read all his crime novels. I don't think I'm familiar with Gischler. Comics Workers Jimmy says, comics on this stream? We're strictly politics here. Joke is like, that would have worked maybe better 2 months ago. I haven't talked politics in quite a long time. Ash is staying silent on politics tonight and everything else. But bump. You've got to check out tonight's interview with him. Wait, him? Who? Wait, huh? Who did I mean? Who's him? You got to check out. He admitted that he enjoys writing the novels more than the comic form. Oh, there must have been something in chat I didn't get. That's probably the Grishler comment. Oh, there we go. Yep. Victor Grishler on tonight, veteran writer who I'm thoroughly impressed with. Oh, okay. Yeah. I skipped right to where I saw my name. I'm such a narcissist. Not really. Let's see. I only go to a few places for politics, and this is one of them. Haha. Well, not going to go into politics tonight, but that's kind of encouraging. I got to admit, I was like, I wonder if because I have very opinionated views about lots of things. Politics is just one of them. It's not like I'm hyper political so much as I just have opinions on everything. And I'm like, I wonder, because if you guys watch Lost in Comics, they will never talk about politics. And I was like, man, I hope I'm not like offensive to those guys. They come over, they're like, hey, here's another YouTuber talking about some comics, and it's like politics, blah 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 blah. It's like they're like, okay, we're out, see ya. I'm like, I'm one of the few people that dares to dive off the deep end and start drowning. I should probably behave more like those guys. I'd probably be a little bit more popular. Let's see. Favorite read of the year for this. I gotta have to check out the replay of that stream because I don't know who Gishler is, and I guess I'll learn on that interview. And you guys can learn too if you go and watch. Hearing the thought that Victor put in will make you enjoy it even more. Okay. Marani says, quick and dirty fix. Try turning the pods and routers and modem off, leaving them off for a minute and turning back off. Yes, that is a very solid troubleshooting technique. We definitely did all that. I come from a tech background. This is something that's more complicated and I haven't ever seen before. And that's one of the problems of isolating it. We've actually replaced multiple pods. Currently right now, I'm not even using the pod that's in my room. Normally I'm hard plugged in with Ethernet into the pod that's in my room. So I'm not even on Wi-Fi. That problem. So I've decided to turn mine completely off and I'm Wi-Fiing into the main pod that's connected to the cable modem itself directly so that I'm not even dealing with it. I'm hoping that was going to like fix the problem or at least be a workaround. But since it was still happened, then now I know that certain things aren't the issue and we'll move on to other steps. But this is boring. I can't believe I'm talking about this on stream. Tony got shot in the spine by a psychotic ex-girlfriend along with the lines of Fatal Attraction. And yes, he was paralyzed for a while. Oh, okay. I guess he had like his armor like motorized so he could just run around in that. I don't remember reading those stories, but I believe they existed. Lots of Iron Man stories to read. Too many comics to read, actually. Quite too many because they keep coming out. It's not even like you have a finite amount and you're like, I can dig through these eventually. It's like fighting against the ocean. All right, well, I reached the end of the chat. So what do we do now, Ren? What am I going to do now? Remember Ren and Stimpy? Ren and Stimpy was one of my favorite cartoons. I miss Ren and Stimpy quite a bit. You could always count your booger collection, Stimpy. I miss him. I miss him. Okay, let's go looking at comics. Let's go looking at comics. So some new comics came out. I went to the comic book store today. That was a positive. I don't have a camera to show you them, but I can show you them digitally. But before I do, just wanted to show out. I am looking for a couple copies. I'm looking for this copy of Berserker right here. My comic book store either sold out or didn't get it or whatever. This is, which cover is this? The Raza D cover. I don't think it's not like a ratio variant, so it should be same value as any of the others. I just really like the art on this and the composition of this cover. So thought I would show that off. And no, you're not going to behave, are you? I went too far. Too far. And then this Noctera cover. If you guys have never heard of Boss Logic, you need to look up Boss Logic. I didn't know he did comic book covers. Like he does really interesting art, and he remixes stuff. He's done some really cool like movie poster remixes and things like that. And they got him to do Noctera cover, and I think this is gorgeous. And I just happen to be a little bit of a fan of Boss Logic, so I wanted to get this, and this was another one that my store didn't have. So you guys, using the power of the internet, if you stumble across these and they're not like exorbitant price, let me know. Let's try to get these. But so my comics, I went to the comic book store today, and this was today's books. I got the newest Harley Quinn, issue 6, Blade Runner Origins issue 2, Die 14, Robert Kirkman telling his ultra-violent political satire. I don't know if it's political satire. It's like political black. Well, maybe it is mockery. He's just like, it's political, but it's not like real world political. And it's very tongue-in-cheek and then hyper-violent. But it's like hyper-violent with its tongue permanently planted in cheek. It's not just there to gross you out. It's hard to describe. It's not for everyone, but it's very interesting. I dig it. Then you have Usagi Ojimbo, one of the greatest comics it's ever been. And up to issue 17 on the new run. And then I picked up my Thor. And from last week, I didn't go last week because guess why? This is the only book that came out, for me at least. And then I also picked up Birthright 47, Blade Runner Origins number 1, and the Daredevil 28 that I was missing. So I got those books. And yeah, I had bought those previously. So that was my my comic haul for today. And yeah, you notice that's next week's haul. One book, Decorum. Finally, Decorum's coming out, and it's the only book. I don't buy nearly as many books anymore because Marvel and DC apparently are just working super hard to make me not be their customer. Super hard. I was going to keep staying on Batman despite the Infinite Frontier, which I don't like. And I was like, I do like James Tynion, and my favorite artist, or one of them, is Jorge Jimenez. It's gorgeous, and these covers are beautiful. I'm going to give this book a chance. And then DC's like, we're raising the price to $5.99. And I was like, you could take a hike. But Ash, it's twice as many pages. But it's not twice as many Batman pages. It's still 20 pages of Batman and then some backup stuff. Like, no. I don't want to buy your backup story that you have to include in there because you can't sell it otherwise. And before anyone argues that they could sell that otherwise, no, they couldn't, because they would. Because then they could sell 2 $3.99 comics instead of one $5.99 comic. Do the math. It's more money to have 2 $3.99s than one $5.99. But they don't do that. They're using this to sell you something that you wouldn't have bought, but force it in on you. And this is how this works. This is what killed cable industry. It's funny. It's just funny that AT&T, who is part of the telecommunications industry, you'd think that they know this. This is what's killing the cable industry, is that Because everyone hates cable, right? You hate paying for cable, and it goes up every year, and it's super expensive. And here's the reason why. Because the cable channels, most of them owned by Disney, not most, but Disney owns a huge chunk of channels. It's funny. They hold the cable companies hostage by saying, oh, look, you want, let's say, ESPN. Once upon a time, it's probably not anymore because of current events, but once upon a time, ESPN was the most popular channel. Not necessarily the most watched, of course, but it just popular of people and desire. It cost cable companies more money to have ESPN on their lineup than like actual pay channels like HBO, right? But you can charge people $15 for HBO, and they're like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'm willing to pay for my premium channel. But if you told anyone, oh, you want ESPN, it's going to be an extra $15. They'd say, take a hike, right? So they'd have to lump it in. But here's the kicker. No. Disney, who owns ESPN, goes, no. If you want ESPN, first of all, you're going to pay us however much it is, more than $15 per subscriber that you have for this channel. But you're also going to include all these D-list cable channels that we own on there as well, that the cable company's like, we don't want to buy. No one wants these channels. We're not going to pay you for them. And they say, well, then you don't get ESPN. And they do these lopsided weirdo deals, and then the cable company has to make money because you may not even want ESPN, but maybe you want Disney XD or something, right? Or some other. Maybe you do want that D-list channel. I don't know, but they have to make their money back. And so everything gets costs. And this is what this is doing in the comics industry right now, is they're going, oh, you don't want this backup story? Well, you have to buy it if you want Batman. And it's like, okay, good luck with that. Oh, you're taking off all the good talent? You took off Peter Tomasi off Detective Comics, and you put on a far inferior replacement? Okay. You're going to raise the price while you're doing that? Good luck with that. By the way, these comics are all pretty... I can't vouch for like Blade Runner Origins, to be fair. But Birthright, Joshua Williamson, you may know him from The Flash. Amazing. Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky, probably one of the best mainstream books out there right now. Thor, Donny Cates, probably the best Thor that there's been. I'm going to argue 10 years. When did Straczynski do Thor? It's probably been as good as since that. Harley Quinn, surprisingly good. Venkman can vouch for this. I had a fight with him about this, and then he challenged my open-mindedness, and I was like, fine, I'll try it out. It's good. Yeah, and Usagi Yojimbo is just a masterpiece. So anyways, let's see. RDV says, did you get the new gold foil cover? I believe you're talking about Berserker. I did not. I went to the store today, and it was not my pull list. And I specifically had a conversation with the store last time I was in there, and they told me, oh, there's going to be foil covers. And I said, put me down for one. They're like, you got it. So I was like, where's my foil cover? And they're like, oh, yeah. And then they looked at one another because there was multiple. And like, do we get the? Is there? No, I don't have any left. But fear not. One of the good things about shopping at a store that has multiple locations, they called up one of their other locations and they're like, go ship it to us. So I am going to get the foil cover. I just have to wait a couple weeks. So RDV says I got the Brooks foil variant for Berserker 1. RDV says Blade Runner Origins is awesome. Well, that is good to know because Blade Runner 2019 was amazing. And then Skip says, good, now we can read Blade Runner Origins. You got it, man. We could do 2020 or Blade Runner 2029 as well. I don't know if you've read that. I got 1 through 3 of those. So yeah, we got a bunch of Blade Runner stuff going on. And it says the networks ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox are the absolute most expensive, and they're free with an antenna. No, they're not. well, I used to work for cable company many years ago. Comcast, to be specific. Terrible company. Horrendous company. They, at the time, I believe, if I remember right, ESPN was number 1 and Discovery Channel was number 2. Straczynski did Thor 15 to 16 years ago, I think. Oh, okay, there you go. So the best Thor in 15 to 16 years. I could just hear Jimmy getting triggered, but he probably left. He's not hearing me. But I'm not intentionally trying to trigger Jimmy. But that's it. So we got comic sales. Let's see. I always like to check the digital sales because comics are getting way too expensive. But that doesn't mean you need to curb your enjoyment of comics. You can sometimes get really great deals for digitally. Some people don't like digital comics, and for that I can kind of understand. But there are a lot of pros to digital comics. Number one being the price. Sometimes you can get whole trades and graphic novels for like 10% of what you would pay for the physical book. And I know. Sometimes having the physical book is way worth it. Believe me, I know. I just got a copy of East of West, hardcover, premium. It's so beautiful and gorgeous. I want to just lay down and sleep with it. I know that's kind of weird, but it's amazing. And I do have them digitally. But when something's sometimes you can have the best of both worlds. Sometimes books are just pretty good. You like them, but you don't like them enough to spend $35 to $50 for a hardcover of the book. But you do enjoy it. And you go, hey, look, I can get it for like $5 or less. Then you go, oh, that's much more worth it. So I always like to check out these sales, and you never know. Sometimes you just get super deals. Right now, Marvel's got a Man-Thing sale. That's really weird that as we're rounding up, what is it? This is like Women's Appreciation Month or Women's History Month. As we're rounding that up, Marvel starts to do a Man-Thing sale. That's not a good look, Marvel. Let's see. Marvel Stormbreaker sale. Oh, God, fuck it. Stormbreakers. This is stupid. I'm not. You've heard me go salty on the whole Stormbreakers thing. Oh, Falcon and Winter Soldier sale. Of course, prime time to do a sale on that. But all you need to know is the Ed Brubaker stuff. And look at this. You can pay Captain America Reborn $339. Captain America Reborn $254. Or this one right here, The Man with No Face, $339. It's just super cheap. Get the Ed Brubaker stuff. It's amazing. Amazing. Got some manga. Got some Mignola Hellboy universe stuff. Baltimore. I gotta hand it to Mike Mignola. The dude has really been committed to his stuff. Like, I remember, didn't Hellboy come out like 30 years ago or something? Like, there is not. He didn't just go like, I'm gonna do like 50 Hellboy comics and then move on. Like, he's done so much. Can't even count all the different associated books. And they all appear to be very high quality. Like, I never hear anyone going, yeah, he really slipped and sold out and turned into trash. Like, I never hear that. Oh, look, there's a Marvel Silk sale. Didn't they, like, try to just get rid of her because she became problematic? So they were like, let's just sweep her under the rug. I guess now times have changed. She's back. Agents of Atlas. You can, if you want to read Tribute to Racism, you can buy this for $2.54. Super cringy. Apparently all Asians are the same kind of book. DC Explore the Multiverse sale. This is, hello, DC is an omniverse now. There is no more multiverse. There's nothing to explore. Wait a second. Okay, so this Super Sons. Okay, I saw the name Ridley on it. This Super Sons, by the way, I read the first book of this. It's atrociously bad. It's horrendous. It was painful to read. I just saw the name Ridley on it, and I know one of the guys doing the new Superman books named Ridley, and I was like, is this the same guy? Did they pull him out of the YA stuff? So anyway, nope, false alarm. Moving on. Nothing to see here. Godzilla, of course, is going to fight King Kong in the most ridiculous fight ever. Invincible's got a series coming out. It's almost about to release, the Netflix series, so you can now catch up if you want. These are the compendium, $17.99. The compendium. These are over 1,000 pages. It's like 50 books in one. That's a really good deal. So there you go. That's tonight's sales, brought to you by Ashon Comics. If you are into comics, then you right on time. There goes the beep, and we're gonna cut over to Superman. Straczynski did okay. It's 2021. Women can have a man thing. This is already BS. Dragon Man says, I'm not touching that. And Jimmy says Hellboy came out in 93, so 28 years. Okay, that's close to 30 years. 28. I mean, when you're talking 30 years, I mean, what's 2 years? But yeah, thank you for being precise. All right, so we are here going to read some books. Oh, Invincible comes out tonight. Do we need to have a watch party after the show? I'm going to read Superman. This is Superman, Lois and Clark. It's written by Dan Jurgens. This came out during the New 52, right before the transition into Rebirth. So this is called Road to Rebirth. It was an 8-issue miniseries, and it explains sort of the story of Clark, the pre-Flashpoint Clark Kent and Lois Lane, who are married and then had a kid. They escaped the Flashpoint and found their way into the New 52 multiverse, and were hiding away because the New 52, of course, had its own version, right? The New 52 version of Superman. And as New 52 was kind of coming to a close, they were telling the story in a Rebirth. Ultimately, we know, spoiler alert, that this Superman would become the Superman of Rebirth. The Superman of New 52 would unfortunately meet his ultimate end. But this book is not about the New 52 Superman. Peter Tomasi did a companion Road to Rebirth book. I think it's just called Road to Rebirth Superman. I don't know. I did read it on a previous Story Time Live. I love that book. That book is fantastic. I like it even more than this book. I had never read this one, though, and I was like, I always felt like I really should. So I picked it up, said, let's read it on the stream, and it's been very enjoyable so far. So props to Dan Jurgens, and let's read the final 2 issues. Several years ago. I should have known this day would come. Foosh, zoom. No matter how much we wanted to live a secret, happy life, it couldn't last forever. Who do you think is faster, Mom? Superman or Flash? Oh, I'm pretty sure Superman is, John. No question. It'd be way more fair if Flash is. How so? 'Cause Superman's got tons of powers. He can fly and bend steel and stuff. All Flash can do is run super fast, so he should win. Clark? Wow, what's going on, Dad? Come on in. It's time to celebrate. Yay! Why though? Not that I don't like a party, but I'm rather curious myself. Look at, side note here. Look at Lois Lane rocking a polka dot dress. You go, girl. That's I don't know why that stands out to me, but I like it. Moving on. Must be good if we got balloons. There's root beer in the fridge if you want it, pal. Oh, boy. What's this all about, Clark? It's a publication party, Lois, for Author X. Presenting Fortress Wall Street, America's true ruling class. It's here? Oh, Clark. I have to say, this feels so good. Really, really good. I wish we could have a proper party for you, Lois. But if we're going to do our work anonymously, I don't mind, Clark. Thank you. And they're coming around the Washington Monument, heading for the finish line. Fashoosh. Watching John. Do you ever wonder about, if he could ever be fast enough to run that type of race someday? I've always wished we had an expert I could take him to. And the winner is Flash! It doesn't matter to me either way, Clark. No matter what, I'll always think of him as my little Superboy. The Present, Lancaster Elementary School. Intergang discovered I'm Author X, that my book revealing their crimes is almost finished. Now they want me dead. John, don't! It's okay, Mom. Pause for a sec. So if you missed the last episode, the previous issues, as you can see from Dan Jurgens, excellent writing and the way that he incorporates, like, bringing you up to speed without going out of his way with exposition. He just has Lois kind of thinking about what's going on, and you immediately know, okay, Intergang's knows they're trapped, she's on fire. So that's kind of what happened. And she was trying to save her son, like a good mother, but the fire was just too much. And John was like, hey, it's not this bad for me. And so that's what's going on. John, don't. It's okay, Mom. It doesn't hurt. But that latch is red hot. How? Come on, Krang. But you're really okay? You weren't hurt? Yeah, but you must have questions. They'll have to wait. Because if we ever needed your father... Wait, sorry. This is where I bubble. Read. When you do cold reads, which is what I'm doing right now, I have not read this, and you read panel to panel like this where I can't see the entire page, sometimes things get mucked up and I just read the wrong voices, so I apologize. Take 2. You must have questions. They'll have to wait, because if we ever needed your father, they're out. It's now. Roosevelt Bridge. I have reason to believe that Lois and John are in imminent danger. I was on my way when I came across some nut tearing up a bridge. At least one man is dead. There won't be another. You kinda look like Superman. Kinda dress like Superman. But that don't fool me. You ain't Superman. It doesn't matter who I am, Blackrock. All that matters is that I stop you. Ah! You're a pretender. So hot, I can't. A wannabe. Ugh. Scrack. A loser with a suit of armor. But that armor doesn't make you strong. It makes you weak. Take it away and you're nothing. Why do this? What could you possibly hope to get out of it? They told me to. Said no one would get hurt. That the bridge was going to get torn down anyway. For their reality show. You did this? For TV? Zoom in. Give me a clear shot of the man in black. I want to know who he is. I don't have the right lens, Trish. No excuses. That shot could make badass nation. Badass nation. You were willing to kill for demented garbage that only exists to sell beer and antacid tablets. That's hard to say, sorry. It wasn't my fault. They were supposed to block the road. Unbelievable. Correct. My camera melted? Good thing the van's recording equipment has the footage. Not anymore, Trish. Do you realize what this means to my career? I'm done. All this damage in a man's life for a TV show? No wonder this world seems foreign. They're lucky I have to get Lois and John. If I stay, I might get ugly. Half a world away. I want the stone. Don't know what you're talking about, honey bunch. Chambers, don't. I'm not your honey bunch. Blam, blam. I am Hyathis. Ting, tang. By the way, last time I asked, I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm just making it up. If I'm pronouncing it wrong and anyone has the correct pronunciation, please let me know. Until then, I can only pronounce it the way I make it up in my head. So, continuing. I am High Penala of the planet Alstair. Any attempt to harm me is punishable by death. Crack. You. Run, Henshaw. You have something I want. I do? Strange. Your mind is not open to me. How rare. You have the Oblivion Stone. Give it to me. You mean this? That's all you have? Where's the rest? Where's the other half? Lancaster Elementary School. Gotta admit, boys, Author X is some piece of work. Don't know how you got out, but it won't change anything. You die. Mom? Two thoughts flash through my mind as I try to buy time. The first is John's safety. Please, not my son. He hasn't done a thing to hurt you. That ain't how this works. Shoot 'em both. The second is... Where? Bum, 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 bum. Lois? Clark! Hang on. Dad! Wow! Who was that? Gribbs, those gas tanks could... Bloom! That explosion! Don't look, John. Close your eyes. I know it's hard to breathe at this speed, but it's necessary. We have to make sure no one sees where we're going. I can feel John's fear from here. I didn't want him to find out like this. Never wanted it to be an accident. I hoped for the day when we could sit down and discuss this as a family. We've lost that chance. And because we've created this false narrative, I can't help but feel a little bit like I've betrayed my own son. We're home. You're safe now. You call this safe? When guys with guns are chasing us and trying to kill us, and you're some kind of Superman? John, I realize you're upset, but... Upset? When you and Dad have been lying to me my whole life? Yeah! I know this is hard, John, but... He knows, Clark. Not because of what you just did, but because of what he just did. I don't... Unless you mean... You better explain, Lois. We were trapped in a burning shed, Clark. John put his hand right in the middle of the fire for quite some time and opened a red-hot metal latch with no pain whatsoever. Oh boy. John, son, are you really Superman? It's complicated. That's what grown-ups always say when they don't want to talk about something. It's complicated. I know, John, but in this case, it's true. Even more than we can sometimes comprehend. But I hope you'll let us try to explain it to you. What do you think, Ranger? He thinks that'd be good. I could hear you through the walls, talking about being Superman. I see. Your suit. That S. It's sort of like Superman's, but you aren't him. I don't get it. How do I put this? Have you ever heard of the theories of other universes? Very much like ours, but with subtle differences. Parallel universes. That's right, John. Well, your mom and I are from a universe like that, with an Earth very much like this one. But that universe is gone now. This is where we ended up. This is home. Your home. The Daily Planet headline you saw? That was written by this world's Lois Lane about this world's Superman, not Daddy. We never wanted to be in their way, so we worked secretly. Like a secret identity thing, Dad and you. She's Author X, son. I'm very proud of what your mom has done. Why did you lie? Why didn't you tell me the truth? Our priority has been keeping you safe, John. Except for Mom's publisher, no one knows. And even she doesn't know about me. But it isn't fair that I didn't know who I was. That I could do stuff too. Honey, until today we had no idea. We're as surprised as you are. I mean, we thought maybe down the road when you were older, but now Dad? Clark, what's wrong? Visions. My God. The violence. How can I help? It's over. I didn't see much, but what I saw was bad. There's something out there, Lois. Something bad. I have to go. Now? But the timing is awful, I know. But if it's looking for me, I can't let it come here. Everything will be fine. I'll be back soon. Promise. That is just so cool. I feel the same way, honey, every time I see it. The island. I don't know where the other half is. You lie. Ah! I should kill you now. But I dare not do so until I have answers. Fool. Yeah. Wait, did I read that wrong? That was weird. But I dare not do so until I have answers. Fool, you have no idea what the Oblivion Stone is capable of. Though I can sense that you have used it. So, lovely one, where is your mate? I must find it, for split as you are, your power is a fraction of what it should be. I will not rest until I find and reunite you, no matter where you are. And you can see it's in Superman's fortress, not his fortress of solitude, whatever, the I don't know how to identify him. The pre-Flashpoint, Clark White Superman. We'll call him that, Clark White Superman. This is his fortress. It's in Colorado. It's kind of like the Fortress of Solitude, but it's not really. And there we go. So, end of book 7. All right. Ronnie says impressive color. Nice use of monochromatic color scheme. Well done cover. Dragon Ball says, any action in this or just whatever's going on here? Too much women and kids for my taste in an action comic. Who said this was an action comic? It's called Superman, Lois, and Clark. Did you think it was not going to be about Lois and Clark? Because by the title. I jest with you, Dragon, but come on. You kind of set yourself up a little. Like, he says, play WWE 2K9, program yourself in. Does this like look like Ash on pro wrestling? Ash on pro wrestling video games? This is Ash on comics. We're doing comics here. I'm happy that you're here, my friend. Like, believe me, I'm not complaining, but the video games will be there still. You just enjoy this. This is good Superman stuff, man. Come on, man. As our president would say. It's about family along with the hero. It has a good balance of both to me. Yeah, Superman comics really aren't about the action. It's really tough to do Superman comics with action because he's practically a god. Like, he can do so much. So it's like the action's kind of boring. And I think that's a mistake that weaker writers make because they try to like, oh, let's put some sort of monster that Superman has to fight. And it's boring, you know? Superman's going to eventually win. Like, but what's interesting is when you put Superman in situations that is out of his comfort zone. And one of the things I loved, and Tomasi does it even better than Jurgens. Jurgens is doing a pretty good job here, but Tomasi, like Superman learning to be a father, something he's never done. And it's something his powers give him no advantage over, right? And how to be a good father. And it's very fascinating. Plus, I think Jonathan Kent is a good character, and seeing his development. There was so much good going on. This was the very beginning of it. Let's see. That guy went way too method acting for this. BlackRock, I mean. Melissa's here. Hi, guys. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, this is like the lowest count you've been on the stream, I think, probably ever. But welcome. Happy to see you here. I like the art in this book. John looks like a kid, not a mini adult. I know that some artists are not able to draw kids. He also acts like a kid, not a mini adult. Another good point. Good job, artist, and Dan Jurgens. Superman's man cave. Or it would be his Superman cave, right? Am I right? RDV says the first 3 episodes of Invincible are out. Waving the pirate flag. Oh boy. CW Superman and Lois is loosely based off of this comic. Says RDV. I mean, if you say because Superman is married to Lois Lane and because they have a son named Jonathan, there's very loose connections here. I mean, what in this book is similar other than the things that kind of have to be similar? Jonathan's way younger. He's not a teenager dealing with teenage stuff. He's like, how old is he in this book? Like 7, 8, like, or he's like really young. I think he might even just be in first grade. I don't know. He's really young. They have the dog. CW doesn't have a dog. Damn CW, their hatred of animals. I'm just kidding. CW focuses a lot on the interpersonal drama of the town and the kids and stuff. This is more of a family comic, and Superman actually fights villains. I don't know. I don't see the connection, really. I wish CW version was based off of this book. Even more, I wish it was based off the Tomasi Superman series. Holy shit, that would be amazing. RDV says they split John into 2 kids. I don't think so. I don't know. Like, Jordan doesn't feel like Jonathan at all. Jonathan feels a little bit like Jonathan from the comics by him being good-natured and everything. It's tough. I don't know. RDV says, but the show isn't woke. It's not overtly woke like a Batwoman, for sure. It does have some woke elements. They're much more subdued. But, you know, that's just the nature of TV and movies today, period. It's almost, to be able to make a movie or TV show these days and not have woke elements in it, it's a super rare thing. So I am somewhat enjoying the Superman show. I think it could actually be the best CW show to date for the DC stuff, which is a big shocker because I really did not like that actor as a casting choice for Superman. I still think he's like the worst casting choice, but I have to give credit where credit's due. He's putting in a solid effort, right? For the potential that I perceive him to have, he's maxing it out, right? Like, and that's all I can ask. I mean, it's not his fault that he is the person he was born to be. Like, he was hired to do a role and he's doing it. So I don't necessarily fault and be like, all I can ask is that, okay, you're going to play the part. You were cast to do it as best you can. And I have to admit that this version of Superman and this actor is an improvement over the version I saw in the Supergirl TV show, which just made me want to gag. I was like, oh God, this is the worst, you know? And so I had some preconceptions coming into the show. I'm not sold on Lois in the show. She's not terrible, but she's, I don't know, just, she doesn't hit the mark for me. I'm just, I'm biased, I admit it. I really like how the comic version and the rebirth era Lois, how Jurgens and Tomasi defined her and made her. I do like that the CW Lois isn't a domineering, you know, woman who just orders Clark around type thing. I do like that she seems very loyal to Clark as a husband. That's one of the things I love about this is how committed she is. Like how she's like, oh, look, I'll leave my job behind. I left my whole freaking planet behind to be with you. All I care is about you and my son. And she's 100% devoted wife and mother. I love that. But they also allow her to stay true to the things that make her Lois Lane. And weaker writers like Bendis make her feel like she's cheating on her husband, run around behind his back, banning their son in space to like psycho villains, like just dumb shit so that she can get the story. She's hiding off in Chicago wearing a wig so that Clark doesn't even know she's back. And it's just like, what kind of duplicitous crap is this? Like, oh, it's such a dysfunctionality. And I was like, this is terrible. This is not how Clark and Lois's marriage is supposed to be. It was sickening. Anyways, that's totally a divergent. So yeah, I'm gonna continue watching the Superman. I hope it gets better. Yeah. RDV says I haven't seen a single gay person on the show. Oh, that's true. Although I have a very scary feeling about Jonathan. So please, it's just me having, yeah. All of CW's comics so-called heroes are not heroes. They're cold-blooded murderers. I don't know, Melissa. The Superman's not that way. I gotta tell you, that's for sure. Superman's not a cold-blooded murderer. He very much, so far in the show, he's being played like Superman, a symbol of hope. He's a goody two-shoes. Yeah. So there's that. I give credit where credit's due. It's not a perfect show. Most of my problems with the show, to be honest, are the things outside of Superman. The whole like Smallville high school stuff. I'm like, I'm watching a show called Lois and Clark so that I can watch a show about Lois and Clark, not so that I can see like, oh look, it's the school bully at the Smallville high school. Like, who cares? Who cares? I don't want to watch shows about high school. But that's my own thing here. Melissa's all CW. Oh, you already read that. Melissa's CW is complete garbage, and so is the Snyderverse. Well, you know, I don't know what to say about that. You obviously hate it. I definitely think both of them have lots of faults that you can critique. I definitely do, but the Snyderverse, more importantly, I'm a big fan of Zack Snyder. So even when his movies fail, I can watch them and go, well, okay, that missed the mark. That missed the mark. That was a dumb decision. But boy, did that scene shoot really well, or things like that. He's brought, and one of the reasons I go to see some of these movies, like one of the reasons I go to see Superman as a movie, I don't go to see it because I'm expecting the best Superman story ever, right? I want to see the comics that I've been a fan of visualized on the big screen. That's what I want to see. How is the movie going to make this look? I want to see that. Snyder does that excellently. You can say what you will about Man of Steel and how that Superman was not like a real Superman and things like that. But turn the sound off. Don't pay attention to the story. Just watch the scenes. Visually, that movie is stunning. You've never seen Superman captured on film that spectacularly ever. Like, Snyder gave us some things to appreciate. And sometimes you have to see the silver lining in things. That's my opinion. Motown Philly back again. There we go. All right. Sorry about that interruption. Throw the little be right back screen on so that I can see when it appears. Then I know that I'm back connected. So hopefully it's not too big of an interruption for you guys. Thank you. RDV says, I like the Dean Cain Superman, but even that show has its faults. Oh, I'm sure it does. What was that, like on CBS or something? Back in the day in the 90s? There's Edgelord, and I hate him and his cult. Jesus, that's pretty extreme. I don't know. Snyder just has his own view on things, Melissa. That's not worth, I don't think it's worth hating someone because they have a different artistic vision than you. It's totally fair to say, I'm not a fan of the things that you do, but to hate someone because they think differently than you, that seems, I don't know, it seems awful. Like, we should embrace diversity of thought, even if we disagree with it. We should embrace that it's at least there. RDV says Snyder's a dick. Why is he a dick? I don't understand why. Because that's weird. None of us know Zack Snyder. It's weird to judge him that way. To quote Professor Geek, Snyder, DC is not the iconic DC. Well, I mean, to quote Professor Geek, I'm a dumbass because I liked Last Jedi. So, Professor Geek is not without his own faults. Let's not put him on a pedestal as if he's some great virtuous hero that's better than other people. It's, again, it's very easy if we start picking at the skeletons in everyone's closet, as a great visionary once said, let he who is without sin throw the first stone. We should probably step away from the harsh judgment, because I think all of us could. But that's just my opinion. You live your life. I was born the same year in the month Amazing Fantasy 15 came out. I grew up with heroes being heroes and villains being villains. Okay, that's fair enough. Buffer time. It's like Miller time minus the beer. Well, that's where you're wrong, Dragon Majesty, because the buffer time is where I get to drink the most beer. Maybe you should grab yourself a beer, and that way when it's buffer time, that could be like a new thing. When it's buffer time, you guys all can drink. Turn it into something. I haven't watched any of the Snyderverse, so I can't critique it, but I won't dismiss it out of hand either. Well, there is a for sure critique in that it does not encapsulate the traditional DC vision, right? DC is very hopeful. It's a very noble kind of style of universe, right? The characters are aspirational heroes. Zack Snyder definitely put his own spin on this, and twisted that, or just ignored it completely. I don't know if I'm saying necessarily twisted it. He definitely made his vision of these characters and made them much darker. It's more cynical. It feels a bit more like how you'd expect Marvel to do things, right? And the MCU feels more like how DC should do things. Like, they're kind of flip-flopped. Because traditionally Marvel has always been the edgy one. Although not so much in recent years, but like in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, Marvel was all hard edge. And I think that's where Zack comes from. I think Zack grew up in that time, and comics in his mind are that. And that's my just suspicion. I don't know anything factual. But again, I look at it as everyone has their own artistic vision. I want an artist to do what they envision, like what speaks to them. It may not work for me, but at least it's honest. They're not, you know what I hate is when someone tries to create something not based on what they think is good, but they try to create something based on what they think you'll like. They're just trying to appease you. And you never get anything artistic that way. Sometimes to do good art, you have to upset people. And I'm not saying you should try to upset people, but when you speak, when you try to say something, some people are not going to like it. And like I said, I think it's totally fair that people don't like the Snyderverse. That's fair. You say, oh, I hate those movies. That's fine. But when we start talking about, like, I hate that person, I hate the people who like the film, like, that seems really weird to me. Like, those aren't really related. There's films that I hate. Like, look, I was a big Aliens fan. Alien 3 came out. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen. I hate that film. That film, to me, is a clinic on how not to make movies. It is so bad. But I don't walk around and just being like, F David Fincher, or yeah, it's David Fincher. F David Fincher, and those people that like David Fincher are cultists, and it's like, it's a bad film. And funny enough, ironically, I'm actually a David Fincher fan now because his later films are fantastic. So what's weird to me that the same guy that made Alien 3 made Fight Club. It's like, how did, I guess it's kind of like Jonathan Hickman. It's weird to me that the guy that did House of X, Powers of X is doing X-Men now. I'm like, how did you do something masterful and then do something that's complete dog poo? But at least with David Fincher, it made sense because it was his first movie. So he wasn't skilled. Like, he messed it up. And then he got better. And he's like, look, now I know how to make movies. Whereas like Jonathan Hickman, it's like, no, this is the most recent thing you've done. Theoretically, you've never been more skilled at writing than you are right now. And you're writing your worst things right now. That's not computing. But it's not a Jonathan Hickman rant. Buffering is made with hate, says Hardy Feet. Cancel it. Please do. Please cancel the buffering. I want it to go away. Let's see. The professor is a good man. He did not call you a dumbass. He said Disney Star Wars. No, he didn't. He made a 20-minute video that I watched, Melissa, and he spouted on that video that anyone who liked The Last Jedi, anyone that tried to tell him that Last Jedi had any merits whatsoever, was a dumbass. That's me. I'm one of those people. So he was calling me indirectly a dumbass. And he said it over and over. It wasn't like it was an off-the-cuff comment. It was like a 20-minute video. And I was like, okay, I don't think I need to listen to you ever again. Once upon a time, I used to watch a lot of his videos. And then he went off the bandwagon with his crazy obsessive hate against the Star Wars things, which, look, I understand. I'm not going to say I'm the world's biggest Star Wars fan, but Star Wars is a fandom that is the biggest thing that I've ever been a fan of in my life, which is 47 years. Like, there's nothing that I've ever been a fan of bigger than Star Wars. It means an incredible amount to me. It's not like I just take it lightly. I'm just like, whatever. I don't like a lot of the things that have happened, but I don't see the need to obsess over it the way Democrats obsess over Trump. It's like, dude, okay, I get it. You don't like Trump. This is an unhealthy obsession. Like, and I think when you bite down that hard, you start putting yourself in a position of not having a clear perspective. You'll just always see blood in the water. And I just think it's unhealthy. And I think it's easy to get into groupthink mentality where everyone's just like, yeah, F that guy. Yeah, F him too. Yeah, F him. And if you think about it, think about it, Melissa. Like, I think you're a good person. Honestly, I do. I think you have a warm and loving heart. But sometimes when you start hearing, we talk about Star Wars as Zack Snyder, your mouth, like you spew all this vile thing. I mean, not that vile. Like, I can sense the anger and the like that. And I'm like, I just don't think that's good for you. I'm not saying you shouldn't have feelings. I'm not saying your feelings are wrong. I'm just saying you shouldn't let them control you, perhaps. Like, you can express them, you can have them, but I think it's healthy for all of us to try to have a balance and focus on, like, what's good about it or other things. It's like, look, these are bad. I know. I'm not going to excuse, but if I just dwell on that and I just ignore the good, it just seems like being in a pit of despair from my perspective. George Lucas screwed over Star Wars fans, but yet people praise him. George Lucas screwed over Star Wars fans? George Lucas cashed out because the fans are toxic. I don't think so at all. That's weird. F Ash on Comics. He doesn't validate my hate for things. Cancel Ash on Comics. Well, that I can understand. RV says that he should never talk about it again. Stop making videos about it for drama clicks. Well, Melissa, look, I have no doubt that he's shown you kindness on his streams. That's fine. You know who else has probably shown kindness to people? Zack Snyder. But he hasn't shown, I guess, specifically kindness to you. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Professor Geek hasn't shown kindness to me. But if we just view the world of like, well, look, they treat me fine, so I'm cool with it. You know who probably treats people fine? Like, I'm sure Biden treats his son fine. Does that mean we should all like him? Because, like, you see, like, it's I don't think that's a fair way to look at things. But I'm going to dwell way too much on that. That's not I don't think people tuning in to get in this debate. Fan Man and him are my friends, and that's totally fine. I'm not here to cancel anybody. These guys are vastly more popular than me. And I wish everyone well. I'm not wanting to preach hate anyway. I want everyone to like one another. That's actually the solution. Let's stop hating everyone else that doesn't think like us. That's my suggestion. So we got one final issue to go. So I don't know how I get into these things, but here we are. Superman, Lois and Clark, issue 8, the finality. I love this cover. Why don't you marry it? All right. Here we go. My dad is Superman. Not the Superman. The other one was here first. We're from a whole nother universe. All these stories are really about Dad? Yes, John. Accomplished without people knowing he was there. Even though he did it secretly, he was able to prevent catastrophic damage and save numerous lives. Until a couple of days ago, I didn't know this was going on. Or that I kind of have powers too. Even fire can't hurt me. What do you think he's doing right now? Well, he was experiencing those visions as though someone were trying to communicate with him. So he went to check it out. He must have seen some amazing stuff and met some really wicked bad guys. When he's off doing that stuff, do you ever get scared? A bit. The way a firefighter or a police officer's spouse worries, I imagine. But your father knows how to take care of himself. He's a man of near limitless resources and capabilities. Yeah, 'cause he can lift like 2 bulldozers and fly. True, but it's far more than his powers that define him. Integrity, honor, doing the right thing, that's what Superman truly stands for. Think I can fly? I don't know, John. Your abilities have only just begun to emerge. I bet I can. I'm gonna right now. Ugh. John! Don't worry, I'm fine. You have to be patient. Daddy thinks it'll take time for your abilities to surface. But you need me to protect you from those inner gang goons. We're working on that, honey. A solution that will get them off our backs forever. Do we have to move away? If so, we'll make the best of it. As long as we're together, we'll be fine. Other kids have dads that sell insurance, or work in a mall, or sit in front of a computer all day. It's really weird. Having a dad that's off fighting supervillains. A few minutes ago, I experienced violent visions that seemed to show the conquest of alien worlds. Somehow, they're drawing me to this island. The same island where Hank Henshaw's ship crashed. where I left him even as he promised not to tell the world of my existence. I need to know what I'm walking into. That woman, she was in those visions at Henshaw, along with a man I don't know. Why does everything come back to Henshaw? What does this mean? The Kryptonian, here he comes. If you mean Superman, you're as good as done for, lady. I'm glad you can see me. Means I don't have to hold back. Not at all. Crash. Scow. I enjoy a strong challenge. You won't be so happy once I take that sword away. Cricked. Impossible. If it's my sword you want, you can have it blade first. Those visions you caused. I caused nothing. Only the Oblivion Stone could have communicated with you. Such a thing can only mean you possess the other half. Know you well that I shall take it. For I am High Penala of the planet Alstair. I am Hyathis, and by the prophecy of the seers, as I have half of it now, the rest of the Oblivion Stone is mine to claim. The thought of felling a Kryptonian would be unthinkable to most, not to me. Oblivion Stone. I don't even know what you're talking about. Cling. Unless my fortress. I have a necklace there with a partial jewel that I came across several years ago. No idea if it has a name, but if that's it. You can't let her have it, Superman. It's power. Henshaw? Away from me, fool. How do you even know what it is? The traveler was stationed near the world that you called Jupiter. He found it and brought it back with him. They are bonded. A waste. Like bestowing godhood on a grain of dust. The mysteries surrounding Henshaw, the way he survived his journey home, it's all starting to make sense. Let the battle end. I prefer you as captive. That jewel, the Oblivion Stone, must have saved him. So that I might delve into your mind and learn the location of the stone's other half. The question is, what else did it do for him? You're full of tricks. Now, Kryptonian, where is your hiding place? And what does it mean for the half that's in my fortress? No idea what you're talking about. Liar! She can cut me? Slitch. Open your mind. Ripped. Because I've gotten weaker? Or is that sword special? Your resistance will break down. And when it does, I will learn whatever you know. No. No way. Back off. Ugh. You talk a good game, Hyathis. Cring. But it takes more than roots and vines to hold me down. You want this over? Fine. But we're doing it my way. Henshaw just picks up the stone. Why is the stone just like left laying on the ground? That's kind of weird. I expected you to be formidable, but more than you bargained for? You aren't the first one to say that. No one mocks the High Penala. And lives. Chuck. Superman punching a woman, jeez. Cracked. Out of the way, Henshaw. Check. Chambers. Not sure who the guy with the S is, but I sure know who the real threat is. Check. Ping, ping. My emissaries might not have held the Kryptonian, but they will have no problem strangling the last breath out of you. Not today, Hiatus. Kang. The stone must be a formidable weapon. You're about the last person who should have it. Cram. This can only end with one of us dead. So be it. Your words, not mine. But you should know, it won't be me. It is the stone I want, and I shall have it. In due time. You, with the beard. You aren't Superman. Who are you? I've spent years looking for a ghost, a mysterious presence, helping out. I think you're that ghost. Whoosh. Wait, I want answers. How long have you been here? I need to know. Appears you're out of luck, Chambers. How about we start with what you know? No more than you. I just saw him for the first time, too. You know a lot more than you're letting on, Henshaw. One day, I'll nail you on it. You'd think it'd be the coolest thing ever to find out your dad is Superman. But it's not so cool when you worry about where he is. Care for dinner, John? I'm waiting for Dad. He'll be fine, honey. How can you be so sure? We don't have any idea where he is. What's up, Ranger? Hear something? Me. I'm home. Dad! Oh, that's a cool shot. Hey there, champ. I'm glad you're home. Me too. Your suit. Remember those visions I had? Well, they drew me to an alien war that posed a bit of a challenge. You won, of course. More or less. But I also encountered a government agent who's been investigating unexplained exploits. Like the ways you've been helping people? You realize there might be a man behind the miracles. Feels like our cover is eroding. Cora called. My Intergang expose is on press now. When the book drops next week, the Intergang will be history. Thanks to an advanced look, the authorities are making widespread arrests. Author X does it again. You got that right. I don't get you guys. Intergang tried to kill us, and they woulda if not for Dad. Up until a couple of days ago, I thought I was a normal kid, with normal parents living a normal life, but that was a lie. Now I'm hearing about other planets and aliens and Dad being Superman, even though there's another Superman. And I mean, what I really want to know is, what does all this mean? You've had a lot to process, John, that's for sure. Mom and I had always planned to tell you about this, but we wanted to do it when you were older, in a quieter, more meaningful way. We're sorry it happened like this. Let me show you something. There was a time when I had the same questions that you do now. Pa showed me something that opened my eyes to the truth. It helped me understand who I was, where I came from, and what my future might be, and why everything would be okay. Like what? You'll see. This earth is an awful like the one we left. But there are some pretty big differences. It's more harsh and cynical. And of course, Metropolis already has its own Superman. Even though people don't embrace him even though people didn't embrace him the way I had been. With another Clark Kent and Lois Lane, well, you can see why we live secret lives. You're trying to tell me something, but I'm not sure what it is. It's my way of telling you not to worry, that everything's going to be okay. When you're young, it's hard to put all the pieces together and make sense of the world. Who am I kidding? It's hard for adults, too. Fortunately, I had two great adoptive parents in Ma and Pa Kent to guide me. None of us are born knowing what to do, John. We all need help getting pointed in the right direction. Mom and I are here to do that for you. This is the suit I used to wear. I like to think that it inspired people to be better. That even in the darkest hour, they could hope. What I'm asking of you now, John, is to believe. No matter what happens, how bad things might seem, or where we go, Mom and I will be there. Everything will be okay, John. I promise. Is that a cape? You wore a cape? I know you feel lied to. Do you understand why we did? Yeah. I know you were keeping me safe. I tried this before and it didn't work. Probably because I didn't try hard enough. Gotta really, really, really concentrate. Clark? Easy, John. You can't make it happen. You have to let it happen. Relax. Ta-da! I always knew you were my little Superboy. The end. Oh, look at the dog. Oh, that's awesome. Variant cover gallery. That's interesting. They took I don't know, they made Clark White look more like the New 52. That's Tony S. Daniel art. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, JR. Man, he's oh man, he has not been I used to be a huge John Romita Jr. fan, but his Superman stuff is just off. And this is an older book. It's just gotten worse from here. Oh man, I love seeing pencils like this. I think pencils are my favorite way to look at comic art. I think colors and inks can add some cool things to it, but they also take away. All right. Well, that is the end of Superman. What was it called? Superman, Lois, and Clark. Let's see what the chat's saying here. Biden hates stairs. Stairs don't treat Biden nice. Canceled. Stairs are canceled. Snyder is not a nice guy. He's a horrible person who treated geeks and gamers with hatred. I saw the thing. I think that's totally blown out of proportion. I don't think he did at all. I think if Snyder hated geeks and gamer, why would he have gone on the stupid show? Like, it's not. I don't know. I think that was so blown out of proportion, and this is one of the reasons I have issues with the fandom menace and all the hatred and obsession on this, because every little thing that goes against the way they like it, it's immediately like every molehill becomes a mountain. Oh, Snyder had to say that disclaimer thing at the beginning of the stream. Oh, what an asshole. And just like, look how bad he. It's like, he didn't have to come on the stream at all. It's like, now, here's another thing. Was he diplomatic about it? Could he have come across and said the things that he said in a much better way? Of course. And I guess maybe I'm sensitive to that because I know that I'm not very diplomatic, and I put my foot in my mouth all the time, and I say things that piss people off, and I'm not trying to. I genuinely don't. I don't mean any harm, but I say something and it comes off cold or crass or judgmental, and then someone goes away hurt or pissed off, and oh, Ash is a dick. And I know deep down in my heart I'm not, but they don't see it. And I don't know, I'm sensitive to it, and I think people are better than we often give them credit for. John falls flat on his face. Yeah, it's funny. John used to be good until Bendis destroyed him. I was gonna make a comment about that when Superman's like, nothing will happen, everything will be okay, we promise. And I was like, until Bendis comes. Oh, the one villain that Superman couldn't beat, Brian Michael Bendis. Let's see. Melanie says the sword must be enchanted magic because the magic is known a weakness of Superman. That is a good theory. I was thinking along the same lines too. It could also just be have power, right? Because Superman is not indestructible. He's really, really strong, and he's very, very tough. But things can hurt him. Not like a normal sword, but if it's some sort of magic sword or just some sort of power sword or things like that. Hell, if it was a Krypton sword, if it was a kryptonite sword, I know it's not, but if that would also. Let's see. One thing you and Professor Geek have in common is you both love John Kent and hate him being aged up. Well, here's the thing. I think Professor Geek has a solid understanding he has a solid understanding of writing. Right? And that's why I used to watch his channel, to be honest. Before he was all Comicsgate stuff, I used to watch Professor Geek because he used to do really good videos on writing and about writing heroes and things. And I thought he was very insightful. He has a lot of knowledge to share. And Bendis is a terrible writer. So it's like what happens when you pour water over fire, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's almost a given that Professor Geek would not like, because it was stupid. It was a stupid, nonsensical thing to do that ruined a good character. In every single way, what Bendis did to Jonathan Kent is just wrong. He didn't even give us anything positive out of it. That's why it's one of the biggest crimes. At least if you do something bad to a character, but you can at least see some silver lining in it and go, well, all these things are bad, but at least we got to see this development, which we couldn't have had otherwise. You can't even say that about Jonathan Kent. There is nothing positive about what happened. even the argument, some people go, well, they needed to age him up for the Legion of Superheroes, completely out the window too, because the Legion of Superheroes is from the future. They traveled through time to get Jonathan Kent. All they had to do is travel through time a little bit shorter, right? Instead of coming so far into the past, they just come 7 years less in the past to where John is 7 years older, and they get that one and they pull him in the future. And furthermore, if they had done that, it would have served the purposes of having an older Superboy in their ranks, right? That would have worked. And it would have worked for the readers because we still would have had a 10-year-old Jonathan Kent. So we would have had 10-year-old Jonathan Kent. And you could have even brought the 17-year-old Jonathan Kent into the past, and maybe young Jonathan Kent meets his future self. You could do an interesting story like that. And then future Jonathan Kent goes back into the Legion, and he goes in the future. And so he's like, oh, wow, that's when I'm going to be one day. And he stays 10. Comics really shouldn't move forward in age, in my opinion. And if they do, it should be extremely, extremely slowly. There's a reason why Bart Simpson needs to stay 9 years old forever, because that is an essential part of what makes Bart Simpson Bart Simpson. If you turn Bart Simpson into a 16-year-old, he fundamentally becomes a different character. Now, do 9-year-olds grow up to be 16-year-olds? Is that realistic? Of course it's realistic. But stories don't exist to simulate reality. They exist to tell stories. And sometimes these things, like having a character's age, is a tool for the story. Jonathan Kent needs to be 10 years old because it's a fundamental part of the character he is. When you made him 17 years old, he became a completely different character. Yes, he still is Jonathan Kent, but that's from a reality standpoint. From a narrative standpoint, he doesn't exist as the same. It's just like Star Wars. Little 8-year-old Anakin Skywalker, ooh, this is pod racing, is a fundamentally different character than Darth Vader. Are they the same being? Yes, but they are different characters. Anyways, that's Ash on Comics rant. Thank you guys for listening this far. Hopefully that wasn't. Hi Panala. That name reminds me of a panini sandwich. Or I could be hungry. Magic sword is one of Superman's weaknesses. I think magic in general is one of his weaknesses. Cyborg Superman, killer of Coastal City. Ed Brewer says pretty good. Pretty good. Rania says JR looks like he inks his own art. Maybe. I thought Klaus Janson was inking his art, but I could be wrong. Professor Geek being a teacher, he's seen his students be brainwashed by communists and woke Eshidoba professors. Well, I'm sure he's seen a lot. But Professor Geek bleeds just like you and I, Melissa. And he sins just like you and I. We should be careful about putting people on pedestals. I'm not saying you should have any dislike for the guy. We should all love one another. That's what we're put here on this earth to do. But recognize that people, they have their failings. And most of us, I'm just to hide our failings from each other. And we just try to put on our best face so that you only see the best part of us. And then sometimes we fail at that, and you get to see the skeletons in my closet, and you go, oh, that Ash guy's a real big jerk. I just discovered. This is what's happening on social media all the time. Oh my God, did you see this one thing that this guy said 20 years ago? Cancel him. He's an evil fucktard. Remember the whole thing with Trump? Because he said, grab him by the pussy? Remember? For like a year solid, the Democrats were like, oh, he's the most horrible person in the world. And then I think to myself, man, I've hung out with my guy friends, and we've said way worse shit than that. Way worse. And Donald Trump was in a private setting where, with associates or friends. I don't know. Like, was it nasty? Maybe. Was it tasteless? Probably. But most of us have said things like that in privacy. Not necessarily meaning ill will. Sometimes we just get crass or rude or lewd. And if there was a microphone there at the time and someone could air it, it's just easy it's easy to like judge people. And I think, like I said, if all of our skeletons were aired out and put out in the open, we'd all look like pretty bad people. Um, so that's, I don't know. I keep coming back to that. Um, okay, well, that is the end of tonight. Hopefully, I don't know how many people are here left remaining, but thank you for making it this far. I hope you enjoyed the story. Didn't get as many comments about it as I was expecting. I really enjoyed it. Venkman, I'm curious what you thought, if you're even here anymore. If you're watching Invincible, it's hard to compete with that. Listen to annoying YouTuber or go watch Invincible on Netflix. Flip a coin. So, Rania, thank you for being here. And Melissa, both. You've been very loyal and contributing viewers. So that helps helps feed my ego. Not that I have much of one. It's just after midnight, so we should probably wrap this up. It's always fun. I don't know what book I'm going to do next. We got 4 days to figure it out. I always take suggestions, but I don't get many. RDV's lurking. Dragon Mash is a great story. Awesome. That's all I like. I know some people it's you're not maybe in a position to type, or some people just like to lurk, and that's fine. But hearing something like even good story just knows like, okay, there's some people are getting some value out of it. Because that's the reward for me. If I'm doing something and you're getting some value out of it, that's why I do this, right? If I know that it's making someone a little bit happier, that's all I can ask for. Well, that's not true. I could ask for a lot more, but that would be greedy. Thank you guys. Check out Invincible. It's a popular comic by Robert Kirkman, who is a fantastic creator, one of the best writers in the business. It's on Netflix. I'm looking forward to checking it out. It's an animated series, so I'm hoping it's appropriate for kids. Let's see. RDV's like, good job, boy. Who's a good Ash? Yes, you are. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Sometimes you're funny, RDV. Sometimes you're funny. But yeah, what else is Jupiter's Legacy is coming out. Oh, and I found out there's going to be a sequel comic book series called Jupiter's Requiem. I haven't talked about this recently, but I read the 4-volume series by Mark Millar, Jupiter's Legacy, which originally it was Jupiter's Legacy and then Jupiter's Circle, but then they renamed everything Jupiter's Legacy, which kind of makes sense because you got a TV show and you don't want to have brand confusion. But now they're releasing Jupiter's Requiem, which was supposed to come out 2 years ago. I guess the pandemic ruined all that. Jupiter's Requiem is coming out, so it's the 3rd volume. But why are you calling it Jupiter's Requiem? Why don't you just call it Jupiter's Legacy? Because you rebranded everything. That's weird. I don't know. I wish I could talk to Mark Millar about this stuff. I'd be like, what are you doing? But yeah, let's see. Marani says, try the Aquaman Rebirth run. Pick a section of that before issue 43. What Marani is trying to say is pick a story before it goes off a cliff. I think, is that what you're saying, Marani? Am I hearing you correctly? That is a very good suggestion, Rania, and I thank you, because I do have most of that Aquaman series because I picked it up based on recommendations. But because I've always been backlogged in comics, I've always pushed it back and pushed it back and pushed it back. And I haven't actually read it. And I believe it's going to be good. That's why I bought so many. Let's see. Nope. Aquaman. Wait, what do you mean I don't have books? Sort titles A to Z. You don't own any books yet. What do you mean I don't own any books just yet? Am I not? Oh, yeah, it didn't have me logged in. Stupid comicsology. Okay. Go back to my books. Browse library. Come on. Jesus. Browse library. Here we go. Let's try that again. Aquaman. Go. There we go. Aquaman Rebirth. So I have the first 4 volumes. The Drowning, Black Manta, Crown of Atlantis, Underworld Part 1. So, yeah, maybe we can do this, the first volume, and just start there. Because that's what I need. I often need a kick in the ass. When I have a series of books and I'm backlogged, if I haven't even read a single issue, it's real easy to just never start. And just let it go off and return. Always just start it to break that seal. And then if the book is good, which I'm presuming this is going to be good, then it's going to make, oh, man, why did I wait so long? And then I'll just keep reading. So, yeah. Dan Abnett, Scott Eaton, Brad Walker. Oh, Brad Walker? I like me some Brad Walker. Yeah. That's a good idea, Maranya. I'm glad you thought of it. You thought I was going to say I thought of it, but I didn't. You gave you credit. Let's see. Just little teaser pages. Some nice art. I do like Mira too. I think DC traditionally, this might change, but I think DC traditionally does better with the marital relationships. I think Marvel really drops the ball. They're way more dysfunctional. And I don't like to see that because we got plenty of dysfunction in relationships in real life. 90% of marriages end in divorce. We're really terrible at that, but I don't want to read about that, especially in my heroes, right? Like I don't want to see Spider-Man failing in his marriage. That's not why I read Spider-Man. That's stupid. So yeah, well, I think we'll pen this in or pencil this in. Dragon Man says, I had not heard that. Sounds cool. Jupiter Requiem. Oh, okay, yeah. Read some Red Sonja. Oh, RDV, you know that no one reads Red Sonja. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. Ryan says there's also the Mira miniseries, which is quite good. Yeah, that one's on my wish list. I think that one takes place after Volume 5, if I remember my chronology. So I haven't picked it up because I got to I had 4 issues and I still hadn't read them. And I was like, I should quit buying these until I read them. So yeah, I think we'll dive into the Aquaman. Because that's something I haven't done this character on the show. And I do like doing capes. And cool. Hopefully this is good. And so I think it'll be 6 issues. Let's see. Issue info. Yep, 1 through 6. Oh, and Aquaman Rebirth #1. So it's a 7 issue. Okay. But they're normally going to be 6. So yeah, we'll do that as a 3-part series. Cool. Very cool. Well, thank you guys for being here. I will see you next Tuesday. We'll read some comics. And also, next week will be another episode of the Indie Comic Show. So that'll be on Mondays. I believe that start time keeps getting pushed back. I originally was planning on doing it 7:30, but it just seems getting pushed back. So 7:30 or 8, I'm trying to get a committed time. And come check that out. We don't have any books for it yet so it's going to be a hangout stream. So it'll be an indie comic hangout stream. Yeah, if you are into indie comics and you would like to participate as a guest on that, and you have any books that you want to talk about, hit me up, because that is definitely a possibility. We definitely want to highlight more books. And Skip and I, we only have so many books that we read. So an alternate perspective about a book. Maybe it's a book you want to sell us on to check out, or just whatever. Just hit me up. My information on the Discord is down below. You can join that. Also on Twitter as Ash1138. And then so Tuesday will be another Storytime stream. Then Wednesday will be the Wednesday Hangout stream, which is just a chill stream. It's just about anything and everything. So that's a panel stream. Usually I get multiple people on. Joe's been joining me regularly. That's been fun. He's a funny guy. Skip and Tosh. RDV's been there a couple times. And Zach has been regular. I don't know that's open to join. Now, I do have to be careful on that because the last stream we had 5 people. And it's fun, but it started getting unmanageable. So hit me up if that's something you're wanting to do. I don't want to get too many people on it because I think we'll have diminishing returns. And then Thursday we'll have another Storytime stream, and that will be it for next week. So that's it for me. I am out. Thanks for watching. Take care.